可以啊。要吗？可以走了。排队进餐厅的，进餐厅的。OK， 你先，你带头。可以啊。来 ，come on，come on，Pat， 来 ，big cut，1 by 1。
What is that? A hug line?
Come on.
The 3 diehards. Come on, Wayne.
Good morning.
Good morning.
My name is Pat Wong. I'm the principal of the BCS Chinese School for the last 2 years. Today it is the election day. Electing officer, they are being nominated for the following school year. I know I'm competing with good weather and being the last day of school, so I might not get as many attendance as I would like. But this is a very, very important event. If you don't come over here, you might get a different principal than you want next year compared to what you had in mind. So I appreciate you coming over here. There are normally 3 different things that goes on today. The first thing is the graduation. Last year we have 2 students graduated. This year we do not have any graduation. Doesn't mean that they are bad. The standard for graduation essentially are students who have to go to college. And as a result, they have to leave the BCS Chinese School to go to college. And we don't have that this year. But next year we're expecting some students who are going over to UC Berkeley or San Jose State, etc. The second thing we usually do is to give you a wrapped up, a highlight for what's going on for the last year. And then the third part is the election process. And after the election, we'll count the vote and very quickly make the announcement within a few minutes. So if you cast your vote, cast your ballot, and we'll announce it as soon as we can get all the votes counted. And as you can see, this is not a very complicated process. And first of all, and again, I would like to thank you for your attendance. If I could get more than 10% of the school to show, I would be in great shape. Obviously I don't, but I'm working towards this objective. Since we do not have any graduation this year, I'm going to move very quickly onto what we have done the last year, or actually the last 2 years. I've been the principal for 2 years, and let me share with you what was done during this time. Let's make it very, very clear that what I'm going to be showing you are something that are above and beyond a day-to-day operations. That means what you expected from a school. The curriculum, I will not talk very much about. You expected to have certain activities, I don't talk about. You expect your kids will be enrolled and registered, I don't talk about. Unfortunately, that's the most of the thing that we're doing every week. What I would like to highlight is the things that we do differently. Something that above and beyond the call of duty. Something special. And I'd like to share that with you. Another point I'd like to stress before I go into any of this presentation is that what you're seeing is not the effort of myself, but rather the effort of all the board members, the teachers, and the volunteers in the audience over here. And for those who did not attend, for those others who had helped. I was surprised actually when I compiled this list getting bigger and bigger. I don't keep any list during the year, so what I do is I went back to the monthly minutes and start adding things up together. Since I don't have the greatest projector in the world, the best I can do is this fuzzy looking one. So if you can't see, please let me know. That's the best I can do from here. They used to have 3 overhead projectors, now that I could find only 1. So here we are. This by no means are all the projects that we have done. This happened to be the one that was recorded. And for those who have participated in other projects that is not shown on the list, I apologize first. We have an important program goes on. It's called the Academic Excellence Program. Yes, Kudong-hai.
Can you adjust the focus? Focus is best.
That's the best I can do, honest. Let me try to move it to the middle and adjust it based on the center, okay? It's getting worse, right? It's getting worse too.
Move the desk closer to the screen. Maybe.
Okay, let me try to move the table towards the screen. And I need somebody to help me before I close the projector lamp away. I would suggest we put in $5 on our way out per person so we can buy one for the school. The Barrier is a Chinese school. Is that any better? I really don't think so, but well, a little bit better. I appreciate that. But it's not as good as I would like, or the kind that you use at work. This is far from it. But is that okay? What I can do is I can turn down the lighting and perhaps close the door. For those of you at the door, would you be kind enough to close the door? Maybe I can get some more lighting or eliminate some light. Celine, see what you can do to turn down. Thank you, mate. Thank you, Celine. We have a very important program that has taken place. It's called the Academic Excellence Program. This excellence program is the first wave into making that the quality of school that we're delivering is of a higher standard. The quality of school goes beyond just what the board and the school campuses provide you. But I'm sure in the back of your mind is how is the education quality is. And we use this to measure what we're delivering to you as a parent and what we're delivering to the children. So this academic excellence program has now been started for about 3 months, or actually the program was being kicked off about 2 years ago and finally got underway about a month or 2 ago. And next year you're going to see a big wave. Again, programs that were started but not completed or not even get going will not be shown on this list. So what you're seeing is what has actually accomplished. What we have done now this year, starting from the Cantonese class and next year will be migrated to the Mandarin section, is the academic report card. You will, at the end of each semester, get a report card about how your children are doing. We've never done that in Chinese school before. And actually, the BCS Chinese School is among one of about 10 Chinese schools in the Bay Area. We are the largest. We have 4 campuses. And in many, many ways, we are leading the whole Bay Area in the whole South Bay, in this case, Chinese education. Having a report card, you will be able to see how your children are doing at the school. And yes, we are learning slowly because we get together only once a week. We're doing what a regular school should be. It will take time. In fact, it will take another about 5 to 10 years before we can ever come close to an achievement of a regular school. So we work very hard on it. For those of you who know the Chinese New Year, who have attended, you were delighted, I'm sure. We have totally reformatted the Chinese New Year event. Compared to what we were doing previous years, we get everybody inside a big auditorium in Piedmont High School, and we try to push as many programs as possible. Well, we know that some of you are not too, some of you particularly, you have seen your children's show, might not be interested in other children, or maybe your children's coming back and they're making noise and all that, so you might have to go and do something else. Well, Mr. C.C. Wong was able to make this, reformat the whole program, and what you saw is one of the best ever in the Chinese school. We are beginning to go out looking for people who can work for the school on a contractual basis, not just volunteering. So what we have started is to hire an office assistant. Many of you know Happy. Very, very cheerful person, matching exactly what her name is. She knows Mandarin, Cantonese, and English. So during any registration process or any other questions that you might have about the school, she would be able to answer the questions for you. We have learned a few lessons in working with people, whether they are contractual or as volunteers. There must be a contract. And a contract is a legal document whether you think it is necessary or not. But in America, it is utmost important. So we have modified and enhanced the contract that we have with the teachers, and later on with the contract with other employees that we might have. We have, instead of going to the photocopier and make tons of pages of nothing but blank boxes in it, we have decided this is a very dumb way of doing things. And it's very expensive too. Each time you roll it at the copy, it costs the school approximately about 4 to 5 cents. The paper itself is about 2 cents, about half a cent. And the photocopier services is very expensive. Each time we fix a copy, it costs us between $300 to $800. So we have decided to go out, in particular starting with Mr. Ron Poon, who just stepped it in, was able to make the exercise books, and together with Sam Lee, we have a stack of exercise books now. So everything will be standardized. There are 5 or more different kinds of exercise books. So your kids should have 1, if not 2, so they can rotate, and you can keep a set of the homeworks with you, so you know what's going on. We have also, for the teacher, we reimburse their work in preparating material. We have raised the reimbursement. We have continued, perhaps this is the only thing that we are doing on a continued basis that show up on this list. We are continuing the efforts in the intra, which is within, and inter, which is between school, the scholastics competition. We spend a lot of efforts in doing that. Many of you might not be aware. If I were to spend on this item alone, it would take days just to talk about that. And yet, it shows up only as one line item. Now that on the registration forms, I'm sure you'd be delighted to see that a lot of information has been computerized. Plus, the Chinese name of your kids also appeared in the form. That doesn't come cheap. Mr. Tom Hu was able to make that happen, and many of his followers are using that extensively. In addition, we provide a mail-in registration, so you don't have to physically present yourself at school. You can just mail it in. We like it because there's no lines. We got it in the mailbox. We just accumulate it and confirm your registration status. We have also break down the zeros class. If you remember, we have M0 and C0. Those are children that is below the first grade. But we're not too sure which exactly age group or grade they should belong to. So we have further broken this down into a K class, which is a kindergarten, and then a P for preschool. And this is how we are standing at this time, to allow the kids of the right age group and the knowledge level to be grouped together. We have then produced a set of guidelines because of knowledge that we have gained into this. Produce a registration guideline, an activity procedure, and any scholastic competition procedures. So when we move from one era, such as what I am as a principal, to another person who's going to come on board with a new set of people working for him, there will be continuity going from this year to next year and the further year to come. Whereas the Chinese school has been around since 1980, and this is 1989. We come very slowly, but I'll show you how we are growing. We better learn from mistakes too. This is another list of the accomplishments during the last 2 years. We have changed the summer program entirely. For those of you who have signed up for the summer program, we have approximately 300 people who signed up. Previously, the summer program was mandatory. That means you must attend. If you don't, you're not considered as a full-time student. Well, we have changed that. We only make the fall semester and the spring semester to be mandatory. So you consider yourself as a full-time student, so you get your seat the following year. The summer is then not mandatory. It's an optional program. We have changed the summer program during the 3-hour sessions from 9:30 until about 12, or 2.5 hours. We break it down into 3 different classes. Only 1 out of those 3 are languages. We use the language class just to basically refresh what the kids has learned during the year. But for the other 2 classes, it's going to be fun. They're going to be learning how to draw and dance, fold papers, etc., etc. It's meant to be a fun class, a fun and enjoyable summer. In the last 9 years, we didn't do that. We push the kids again, even though June and July, when everybody's enjoying themselves, the kids will be coming here for the Saturday school, moaning and groaning. Okay, we're changing that. We're trying to make the Chinese school to be a positive image. We'll make them to come to school to enjoy it. Yes, they will continue to learn languages. They will continue to be refreshed. Most important of all, we emphasize that during the spring and the fall semesters. As you know that we have purchased a copier. You might say that, well, why is it taking you so long to do that? Well, first of all, the school doesn't have very much money. And now the school was able to accumulate enough money to buy one, and it's a medium speed one. And we were able to get away from using the one from the school district, particularly the 2 copiers in Taoyuan School. Let me tell you that this has been a blessing. Ever since we got our copier, with the exception for the first 1 or 2 months, we have never had any complaints from teachers from Taoyuan anymore. And that is something that we have done tremendously. And I want you to appreciate that, because the smaller amount of complaints coming back from the school, the better. Thank you. We have also started a new students/parents orientation program. We kicked it off in Morel, unfortunately. Unfortunately, a little bit late, about March. But we like to do this once a year for those newcomers who have never been to our Chinese school systems. For example, like you might not be aware that we are volunteers. Many of you thought that we got paid. We do not get paid. That's one thing I want to be very clear with you. There is no such thing at this moment of paid officer. Later on, we might consider this when the school is getting bigger, but not at this time. We also provide a periodical newsletter so you can understand what the school is going on, rather than going blind and see me once a year or twice a year. We do fundraising for the Association of Northern California Chinese School. As you know, we sold a lot of logos of t-shirts, sweatshirts, and windbreakers. Ming, what about this good person right there? He has the t-shirt. Stand up and show people about your t-shirt. I'm doing a little bit of advertisement over here. Buy one if you don't have one. It's mandatory. Love your school. That's the purpose of the t-shirt. We are here together. I'm helping you, and you help the school, please. We're here together. We are doing, as usual, competing with other Chinese schools in the Bay Area athletically. And that is one of the ongoing items that we do. But aside from that, we're doing some participations in the school districts. The reason why I'm putting up somebody called the monkey suit is because I was in the school district last night until about 10 o'clock, and today I'll be there until about 10 p.m. tonight as well, and tomorrow. For 24 hours this weekend, I'll be participating in the superintendent search for the BCS School District. There were initially about 53 individuals who applied for the job. Has now been cut down to about 8, and by the time late tonight and midday tomorrow, we're going to see 3 final runner-up. And then I am representing the BCS Chinese School in the search of a new superintendent. That means whoever is going to be the superintendent in this school district will affect us in the next many, many years to come. It is a privilege to be selected to become one of the committee, as well as a responsibility. This is a very, very heavy responsibility. But I'll do my best to represent you as an entity, the BCS Chinese School. I often joke about it to the current superintendent and to the board. that they have 13 schools in BCS School District. And there is a 14th school that they never know all this time. Occasionally they heard about us, and that is us, the BCS Chinese School. I'd like to make sure that if they could not financially afford to have afternoon classes with Chinese languages or ESL or programs like that, the Chinese school should be able to help them. And if I can have us as a Chinese school to integrate ourselves into their school calendar, we will be the best Chinese school ever in the Bay Area and in California. We'll start from here. I'm not a political person, but obviously in America, if you don't participate in this and that, you'll never be represented. So above and beyond participating in the executive search, we're participating in the strategic planning committee, Sam Lee representing our school, as well as the human relations committee presented by Gilbert Chen. Those are the ones that shows that we, Chinese school, are part of the community. We're not just here coming in on Saturday as it was being advertised in the last many years. Remember, we were kicked out from Vinci Park. Let's not make that happen again. We have started a photo session. In fact, started last Saturday. I have some pictures right here. I would like to make that to be a tradition. So each year, the school board, the teachers, and the volunteers will have one picture to see who those diehards are or who those burnouts will be by the end of May. But I would like to carry these traditions and propagate it into the class so the teachers will have a picture with their classes. Now, that is something that we, again, need to band together as a school. We don't just come in on Saturday and leave. See, we see each other approximately 37, 38 times a year, 38 to be exact. Let's capitalize on that and enjoy it while we can. And we also have started a very nice insurance contract through the Association of Northern California Chinese School. Ray Lee has done a lot of work, as well as Mr. Ron Poon, to make that happen. And we also have Mr. Tom who start out a computerized check disbursements process. So there won't be any more writing of checks. We all computerized as a database. We know exactly how much we spend, how much income we have. So this process has been very, very successful, coupled with what NSHA has been doing, make a very, very good set of financial books. Our school has been very, very healthy in this regard. This is what we have done internally. Externally, we have come a long way. And before I go into the bullet item as to how we stand, let me share with you some of the graphs and charts that you have seen before. This is terrible, isn't it? Amazing. Put down $5 on your way out, please. I can't even see it from here. But basically, there are about 8,000 students in this school district. This school district is not a very big one. It's just about 8,000 of them. But the proportion of the Asian and Pacific Islander is perhaps one of the highest in the state of California. Cupertino has about 24%. And if I projected correctly, we had about 28%. San Francisco, I don't know. I don't consider San Francisco as South Bay, But I think we're doing pretty good. This is a privilege to be that. So, and as a result, we are looked upon as an authority, as a set of power, because of the 28% that we have in the population base. And it's growing, as you know. So let's capitalize on that and make the Chinese school to be one of the most successful schools. And in the Chinese school alone, again, another fuzzy chart. We start out in 1980 with about 43 students, and we're growing. We're in Vinci Park until we got kicked out. We moved to Taoyuan. Taoyuan is smaller than Vinci Park, or just barely equal to. And as a result, we cannot extend any further. So for 2 years, 3 years, we cannot do very much. And then, when I became the principal, I was able to negotiate additional campuses in Piedmont Middle School, as well as now this year, campuses in
Work for the donuts.
You work for the donuts, huh?
Yeah, donuts.
So.就这个。
CC, do we have some right in?
Huh?
Do we have some right in?
Yeah.
We do, huh? Oh my god.
再示範，如果唔係咧，我哋留翻下一次就另外再示範咧。
揾一個學生示範一個手工啊，咁樣係你個仔啊，咁樣佢未俾你，keep 喺入邊，等間留在我度。
我想同你影相添啫。
4 more years. 4 more years.
謀殺啦，謀殺。
想我影啊
No, it's okay. It's okay.
Pat 咧就同我哋做咗有好多事，你哋咧雖然未必見得到，但係咧
感覺到。
咁我哋咧而 Pauline 咧亦都係同我哋做咗好多領導嘅工作，我亦都好多謝 Pauline。今次嘅 potluck 咧，我哋係純粹就為 Pat 同埋 Pauline 而要舉行嘅，所以咧阿 Pat 又要趕住走，所以我哋快啲要食啦。好啊，咁我睇下邊個先啊？俾個啊？
剩翻到俾你嘅。佢琴日呢樣嘢，琴日呢樣嘢喺呢度咧就話佢，但係我從來都冇 friend 過，我裏頭有啲嘢還咗啲奶，我就冇過呢個中文。
Surprise 嚇！
我真係我都係話，即係我啲學生，譬如我個有啲人都冇諗過嘅。但係我而家咁樣我或者佢都係要睇，即係會咁下真係。
哇！
樽酒嚟喎。
樽酒嚟嘅喎。
咁個 procedure 我諗咧就應該啲細仔我哋排隊。嚇？
哦，好得意啊！
唔好打唔嚟，打唔嚟。
佢同埋嘅試下。
好靚啊嚇！
插花係咪啊？係 candy jar。candy jar。crystal 啊。
好靚。喂，我要搬多幾次。哦，哇，黃俊清嚟啦。